Well, why don't you clue my listeners around America and even parts of the world outside of America? Give us an outline form of what he has done as governor.
So I would break it down into two parts, Dennis. The one that I'm mostly concerned with, the American Experiment obviously is concerned with, is policy. And you can go through it very briefly. We put up charts and graphs that illustrate these points very clearly. On crime, Tim Walz has been anti-law enforcement. He dithered for 4 days during the George Floyd riots while the city of Minneapolis burned. And after having been a low crime state forever, back to statehood, Minnesota is now above the national average in serious crime for the first time ever. It's just unbelievable.
And again, forgive me, all under his governorship.
Yes, entirely under Tim Walz's leadership. We're now above average in serious crime. But you see this on issue after issue. Our economy, he's anti-business, he's anti-growth. And for the first, Minnesota has always been a prosperous state. Again, you can go way back in history. You've always been pretty prosperous. Not anymore. In 2023, and now continuing, for the first time ever, Minnesota's per capita gross domestic product is below the national average. It's just shocking. He has made us into an economically below average state. And that all happened during Tim Walz's tenure. Education, that's another one, Dennis, that I know is close to your heart. During Tim Walz's administration, spending on K through 12 public schools has exploded. It has skyrocketed. And at the same time, performance has plummeted. 4th and 8th grade reading scores, most recently, the lowest level ever recorded. They have just sunk like a stone. And currently, this is a scandal, Dennis. More than 50% of all the K through 12 public students in Minnesota schools can neither read nor do math at grade level. Tim Walz.
I'm sorry, what percentage was that?
More than half.
Wow.
Both reading and math, more than half.
All right, so what is his response on these three subjects?
He changes the subject. He changes the subject. I mean, these data are irrefutable. You can't deny them. And what's the result of all this, Dennis? The result is that Minnesota is now like California, Illinois, and New York. We are a state that people are fleeing. And that's really the bottom line. Nobody wants to move into Minnesota. A lot of people want to move out. And that's what we're seeing.
Yes. Well, I just read, I forgot the name of the business, some very big company has decided to leave Minnesota. I'm used to reading that about my own state, California. You and I are really kindred spirits in so many ways, obviously ideologically, but also in the states in which we live that were once awesome states, ruined by the left, ruined by the Democratic Party. That is very interesting. Yeah, go ahead.
And by the way, Dennis, on that point, I should say, Tim Walz is a huge admirer of California. Every crazy policy they put in California, he tries to import into Minnesota. For example, the energy policies.
All right, hold on. Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. What's your website as we take a break?
Well, AmericanExperiment.org is the American Experiment website, and
all right.
Powerline.
And Powerline is the great blog. Okay. For the full episode of The Dennis Prager Show, go to pragertopia.com, sign up, and become a full member.